Well, hi to whoever's listening and watching. Um, my friend and I are going to sit down and have a conversation about something pretty cool. I'm Audrey Shane. I'm a licensed therapist in Northern California. I have a private practice, um, and I'm a master certified um, accelerated resolution therapy practitioner. It's a mouthful. So that's who I am. On to you.
Yeah, I'm Stephanie Crouch. I'm also in California. I'm right, barely still in the Bay Area, but I'm still here. And yeah, we've connected because of art and this accelerated resolution therapy thing that is like just changing lives. So we just wanted to have a conversation and share our experiences here about what this has been like for us both as therapists. I know I've had it done on me. Have you had it done on you
I
before?
have. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've both experienced this on both sides
Yeah.
and really just wanted to take a moment to talk about what it's been like. I know for me personally, and then as therapists, what we have seen, maybe in comparison to the therapy that we're all like really used to doing. Um, as therapists for like forever.
Forever, right? Like it's been over a decade before I found ART, and it was kind of like a total paradigm shift. Um,
Really.
so I'll start by explaining what ART is really briefly. So it is a body and brain based approach to treating trauma and a whole host of other things. And it is a combination of using bilateral eye movements with specific prompts and scripts that help to bring up whatever's in the body, rework it, and create a new internal experience that leaves you symptom free. And it's hard to describe because it does feel like magic a lot of the times.
Yeah. It really,
But
it really does.
that's kind of the gist of it, right? And there's tons of information out there if you want to dive deep into the specifics of it, the science behind it. It is a registered evidence-based practice. It has been researched. There is really strong evidence of its efficacy and its efficiency and how fast it works. Um,
Yeah.
so
I,
that's
I
what's magical.
I have seen nothing as efficient as this.
100%. Same.
Not even close.
Hmm.
Um, and the effectiveness and how long it lasts. And, I think I'm somebody that has been like, oh, okay, right. Sounds good.
Sure.
I am 100% on the skeptical train.
Same.
Um, and really, it is not it has not let me down yet.
Not yet. Same. How did you learn about it?
Yeah, so I think I learned about it maybe a year or two ago. I from Katie Keats May,
Yep.
right,
Hmm.
out in the East Coast. And I remember she had made a statement that stuck with me this whole time, and she said it resolved trauma for her faster, more effectively, and it was the only thing that worked.
Hmm.
In all of the things. And so, for anybody that's hearing this, you're probably going, I don't know who that is. Totally fine. Superstar in the therapy world.
Yeah,
Um,
she is.
yeah. And so she talks, people listen.
Yeah.
And she had such a crazy transformative experience with it that she went ahead, got trained in it. I think she got her whole team trained in it, if I
Well,
remember correctly.
I believe so.
And then it kind of just lived in my head of going, well, if this was like life changing for her,
That she would invest that much,
yeah,
so much.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I mean, just not like the financial side of investing into it,
Oh.
but the to come out and make a comment like that
Hmm.
um is really big,
Yeah.
really big. And so that really stuck with me. And I was like, okay, let me just keep that in the back of my head.
Yep.
And then I'm in the Bay Area, you're in Sacramento, and I had, followed each other, and I was like, oh,
I'm back.
um, you were doing it. And I was
Yeah.
like,
Hmm.
okay, now it's getting closer to home, right? This isn't just weird stuff on the East Coast. So I was like, let me look more into it.
Yeah.
and reading about it. And I know for me as a business owner and then as a therapist and wanting to meet my clients' needs, I was like, let me go get EMDR trained. Let me go do this. But I kept hearing this like, well, one session and there's like 5 to 8 to 12 to years.
Yes.
But there's a lot of evidence that supports that and rewiring the brain. And I'm going, okay, but why, if this really works and what, um, we'll see, right? And so I said, okay, I'll get trained in it. I got myself like a little vacation, got to go away. And then I kind of did the whole, well, before I sign on to do this to somebody else, do this with somebody else, let me have it done with me.
Yeah,
And so that was when we connected.
absolutely. Yeah. I want to debrief that, but before we do that, I want to share a little bit about how I found it because I had a
Okay,
somewhat similar experience to you.
we're gonna have to tag Katie.
I know, right? So what's interesting is I remember I have this like ping memory in my mind years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm pretty sure it's somebody local. Had to be somebody local because I remember having a conversation with someone and they mentioned it and they said, "Oh, we do this thing called accelerated resolution therapy. I can take care of that in one session." And my mind went, "No way. That's snake oil."
Yeah.
You're kidding,
I'm
right?
like, can we cuss in this? Bullshit.
This
Complete
is
bullshit.
total bullshit.
Yeah.
So I was polite and I was totally in my mind a bit condescending about it. And I own that. That was many years ago, but for some reason it stuck in my mind as like a questionable thing. And then Katie started talking about it. And I was like, wait, I remember that. That was something that I totally wrote off years ago that someone told me about, and I thought they were nuts. And at the same time, I was also getting trained in brain spotting, which was also one of those modalities that I was like, that's nuts. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
So I totally ate my own shit on that one. And now I'm trained in both of them, certified in both of them. But um, hearing people that I deeply respected
Yes.
as clinicians, as people that I knew were skeptics myself, themselves, um, hearing them talk about it and talk about their direct experiences with their clients and their own experience with it shifted my mind where I said, why not? Let's do it. Let me
Yeah.
just, I'm going to take the deep dive and I'm going to set aside my skepticism and I'm just going to go for it. And by the time that you and I have been trained in ART, they have plenty of research now to back it up. I don't think 5, 6 years ago they had that yet.
Yeah.
But they have done that since, and so there's so much more to back it up. And then, um, you know, it was one of those things where I brought it into my practice, and I started doing it with clients with a little bit of a seed of doubt in my own mind around like, I don't know, is this really going to work?
Yeah.
And then to see it just make those one session transformations. Now, every client isn't like that. Some of them take 5 or 6.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, but still, it's sort of one of those like, but it's only 5 or 6. And then we're
The majority of people that need that is so small.
that,
Yeah.
that. And there's one caveat I'll say about ART. It won't teach you communication skills. It's not going to teach you how to be a better parent, like parenting skills. So it has its limits. But it gets the part of you that can't use all those skills out of the way quickly.
Yeah.
So that's what's been really magical for me. So let's get to the meat part. What
Yeah.
was it like for you? What was that like?
Okay, so right, so I remember going into this going, what are we going to talk about? And we had initially talked about doing the dyslexia,
That's
right?
from the mass. Yeah, that's from the
Yeah.
advanced training. Yep.
Because I was diagnosed with that as a kid, but it's not something that like I deal with in my everyday life. But I was like, I'm sure it's still there. I'm sure it didn't magically go away. And then I was like, I'm not really sure, like, if she's gonna ask me questions, I'm not really gonna have any answers. So I was like, here's something that's a tiny bit more important to me. But we're not going deep here
Yeah.
because
No.
this is like a colleague. We're gonna keep it professional. So we're gonna do this phobia of fish that I've had my whole life.
Right.
Because I have two boys who love fish, right?
Of course.
Karma shows up strong. Um, and I was like, let's just do this phobia. And if she can get rid of that, I mean, this is going to be significant because, like, I won't go in the ocean. My kids love to fish. I'm not going fishing. I'm not touching it. Don't bring it. They watch YouTube videos of people fishing, and I'm like, oh, right. But so if she could get rid of this, that would be really cool.
Right.
But it's just a phobia,
No big deal.
right? And so when we started our session, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do this dyslexia thing. I want to do this phobia fish thing. You smirked. And I didn't understand that until I went and did my training. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's why.
Yeah, that's why she was like, oh, you have trauma. And I'm like, yeah, we're just going to talk about these damn fish. Um,
Oh,
and in true art form,
yep.
here came my trauma
Oh
that
man.
I did not want to talk about.
Nope. Well,
That
luckily you didn't have to talk about it. That's the great thing about
yes,
it.
yeah.
You didn't have to talk
I
about it.
didn't see it. I didn't know that was going to come up.
Exactly.
And in my mind, I'm a therapist. I've resolved that, right? So I would know if that was still bothering me.
Of course.
And clearly I had no idea.
Right. It's so like it blows me away every time how the brain makes these connections that don't make logical sense
No logical sense. Yeah.
at all. And then when we use this method to access that part of the brain that we don't have the conscious access to,
Yeah.
it just tells us.
Yeah.
And it's surprising not just to the therapist often, but to the clients. They're like, where did that come from? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, your brain.
Right. And I mean, who's the best recorder of information? It's the brain.
Right. As the brain sees it.
Yeah, as the brain. So, so we do our session. I'm sobbing, right? And I'm just like, oh God, here we go.
Yep.
Um, and we cleared up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, pretty quick too. I think it
Yeah,
was 45 minutes, maybe the whole thing, top to bottom. And like the hardest part was like 10 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tops. And I'll be completely honest with you. I think the hardest part was I was caught by surprise.
That, yes,
That was the hardest part.
that makes sense.
Was I'm here to talk about fish, not about that. And now here it is. So I think the hardest part was very short. It was not hard to get to.
Yeah.
And I think, contrasting it to talk therapy, it would have been, I'm not even going to say it would have taken years for me to get there. I'm going to say I never would have gotten there because I didn't think it was a problem.
Right. And how would you ever connect that to a fish thing? Like it didn't make sense.
Right.
Right. So logically, I don't know that, like you said, I don't know that you had ever gotten there.
I don't think I ever would have gotten there.
I've had other clients say the same thing.
Yeah. And so have I. And since
Yeah.
I've had clients were like,
What?
that was what was that's what I was caught on, not this.
Right. Right.
I was like, hey, I'm just here. I'm just an observer, just like you.
That we're
Right.
just observing the process.
Um, and so yeah, and so we have this session, right? And I left it and I still had work to do. I think I had a client right after.
Oh yeah.
Which not advised. I like had to just chill the rest of the day because I was like, I don't know what just happened.
Right.
That was weird. And I felt so foreignly calm and peaceful.
Mm. It's like a dichotomy. You're calm and peaceful, but also it's a little unsettling because of how calm and peaceful. I get that. That's also something people report frequently.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm unsettled by how good I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And that seed of doubt, right? I'm just like, I don't know what this is.
That. Yep.
And so I took off the rest of the afternoon and I kind of just
Mhm.
sat in the backyard in the sun and was like, what the very common thing I tell my clients is when you have something so much movement and whatever it is, treat yourself like you got a cold, a flu, go take care of yourself, right?
Yep. Yep.
Um, and that's what I really did. And so, because yeah, it was just so much like I don't the logically processing of it, and also I was just like, now I'm also not able to access things, which is weird. Uh,
Uh-huh, right.
that's the point, right? Now that's the point.
Yep.
Um, and so the changes I've seen after that are crazy.
Yeah, this is the coolest part is to see the like spider web effect that it often has.
Yeah, right. Because I was going, okay, so maybe this cleared the fish situation. And I mean, so there's a couple things I definitely want to highlight here that you go back to that automatic thought, right? And
Yeah.
you catch it, right? So we're going back to talk therapy here, to CBT, and I'm going, I should be feeling like this. I'm not. That's weird. Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. That's my normal thought, but I can't even catch it. Like that just seems, I have no interest in that.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
weird.
Hmm.
Um, and like we're going camping next week. And I'm going, I don't know that I'm gonna get in the water, but I'm really curious to try.
I'm so interested to know.
Me too. Me too. Um, we're watching all the fish shows, and I'm just like, okay. And oh my God, this is the craziest thought. So when I was in Arizona for my training, my
Hmm.
husband called me at like 9:15 at night, total panic, and he's like, there's a 5 foot snake in our backyard.
Huh.
Yeah. Um, and I was like, I don't want to see the picture. Do not send me the picture because then we're gonna have to move.
Right.
And I saw the picture like a week later, and my actual first thought was, that's actually kind of a really pretty snake. I have never had that thought in my life.
Oh my gosh.
Never.
Wow.
And I know that's wild. But that's like not something I was looking to change, but I think that could be part of like the fish category of like safety,
Yes.
right? My safety.
Yes.
Um, but when I was going to Arizona, I also have a huge fear of flying.
Huh.
Everyone's gonna die.
Right.
I'm gonna die. I'm hugging my kid for the last time. And what's life going to be like for them? And then I counter it with like most planes don't go down in the continental US, like you'll be fine, you'll be safe. And I do it, but I'm still very anxious and activated the whole time. I'm stressing. Nobody, like, I don't sleep the night before, and it's really horrible.
Okay.
And I made it to the airport without any issues. And it was like one of those situations where like we had back to school night, and like I had like 10 minutes from getting back home from back to school night to getting in the car to going to the airport. So everything was moving really quick.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to think about it.
Yeah.
And so I kind of attributed it to like I haven't had time to freak myself out.
Mm.
But coming back, I had like 3 hours at the airport.
Yeah.
And and I flew by myself, completely traveled by myself. No one's with me, didn't know anybody going there.
Right.
Um, and I wasn't the least bit nervous.
Wow. So we clear fish phobia. You can
Yeah,
fly without anxiety. You're more calm.
yeah.
You can think of a snake in your backyard is pretty. Like, what
What?
the heck?
And this is what I haven't shared with you.
Oh,
I am completely off my anxiety medication.
what?
100%. I was on the max dose.
Wow. I'm like emotional thinking about that's
I just got
amazing.
chills. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This was medication that I had to be on through both of my pregnancies. Didn't want to be on, but also like
Wow.
bad day to wear mascara. Um, this is something I've been on for years,
Right.
and doctor's like, you probably shouldn't be on it forever. And I was like, well, too bad. Um, and I haven't taken it in like 3 weeks.
Wow. 40. And just so I reiterate, we did a single 45-minute
Yeah,
session.
less than an hour. Less than an hour.
Oh my gosh.
About something
Random.
random that you know, wasn't a huge deal, was something that I didn't think about ever.
It's sort of more annoying than anything.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like I knew what had happened.
Right.
You know, I think back to like the what we do with the burning.
Yeah.
I think that and I kind of like enjoy it a little bit. Um, and to clarify, we didn't physically burn anything. It was only my
No.
head.
Yeah.
Um, but like the freedom it has given me.
Wow.
And to see, I'm going, if I could just be able to go like ankle deep or like knee deep into the water, into a beach or something with these fish so I could be there more present with my children.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted.
Right.
And when I think back to what we had worked on of like these fish and making them be cartoons in this particular beach in Hawaii that we were at, that's all I see now. And it's
Oh,
so like, that's no big deal. I can handle that.
right.
And to see just the domino effect that it has had in my life where things are all connected.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah,
Dang. That's incredible.
yeah,
Ah, this is so cool.
yeah.
It just makes me want to do it. It just makes me want to do more of it
I know.
with all of my clients all the time.
Yeah.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and now that I've done it with clients, like we've had
Mhm.
similar like situations of like I didn't know that that's what it was. I didn't have any idea, and like now like life has changed
Right.
for
Right.
the better,
Yep.
for the better.
Yep.
Um, and so I just can't even imagine like what it's going to do for people when this is really a common knowledge therapy modality.
Yeah.
And it's really exciting. And I think as therapists, like this is why we do what we do, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. When the, I mean, the applications are so broad, is what's really exciting about it. I've done this with the individuals of a couple around conflict that they couldn't get past. I've done this with phobias. I've done this with childhood trauma. I've done this with recent trauma. I've done like I've done this with so many places in people's lives and so many pockets of areas that just won't move that a lot of people have just kind of accepted like I'm just gonna have this forever.
yeah,
And I'm like, well, maybe you don't have to.
yeah, right,
Um, maybe you actually don't have to.
right. And I think it's just that like, could we be wild enough just to try?
That
Like what do you have to lose here? An hour?
an hour every time.
Yeah.
Right.
And for some of my clients that I've had for like 3 years,
Yeah.
and we're both sitting there going, what? Right?
Exactly.
Um,
Yes.
we're for one client in particular, 40 years of symptoms
Yes.
gone.
Yep. Yep. I have pre-post measures and there's I had one that been in therapy the majority of their life. And in 3 sessions of ART, we reduced symptomatology by 50% across the board.
Yeah.
You know, that's where like we recognize there might be some more work to do, but to experience a 50% reduction in symptomatology in 3 sessions
Yeah.
is mind blowing. You
Yeah.
don't see that anywhere
No,
else.
no. And it's not even, I mean, I'm gonna get like phone calls about this, but it's not even a realm of possibility with regular therapy,
No, I agree.
right? Um,
I'll caveat to say, being trained in brain spotting, I love it, and I think it's another path to the same destination. And I think of a lot of these therapies, and this is one thing I want to say because I have the utmost respect for all of these brain
okay.
trauma processing therapies. They're all roads to the same destination. Some of them are a bit more winding than others.
Yeah.
Um, I like to start with ART because it's so pinpointed and so direct. As a client, I have had both ART and brain spotting done on me. I like different things for different problems. Uh, so I think, there's a place for them all. But this, it occupies such a special space.
It really
And its
does.
precision
Yeah.
is so unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and I think, yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it better. The precision, the efficiency.
Yeah. The container,
Yeah.
right? Like I adore the open-ended exploration that brain spotting offers, and it is beautiful for certain applications.
Yeah.
And I have experienced great benefit from it in that regard. But the container that ART provides is so comforting and so, like, as a client, it's this weird um, juxtaposition of the therapist will guide you every step of the way, and also it's entirely up to you. You're
Yeah.
still fully in control of what happens. And so it does it has this really great combination of specific containing directive and
Mhm.
also completely open to the whatever the client's brain needs and brings at the
Yeah.
same time. It's such a cool thing.
And I've had some clients really be concerned about not doing it right.
Oh yeah,
And I'm like, listen,
no such thing.
no such thing. There's, and which is also crazy because I'm a little bit on the perfectionist side.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, I'm checking your eyes here, and you just need to relax and you just let your brain do the work. And so they're like, well, I'm not sure that I'm remembering. And I'm like, don't worry about it.
Don't need
I'm
to.
not sure that I'm doing, and I'm like, it's okay. And so, as science-based as it feels, or is actually,
Is, yeah.
there's so much just give it to your brain and your body and let that piece do the hard work here.
Exactly.
And we're just along for the ride.
Yep.
Uh, but I think the fact that it has a beginning, middle, and an end,
Yeah.
and the hard part is not torturous, right? And I
No.
have a client very, very physically activated here. Um, and we went in one, we did a really extended session
Yep.
because there's so much,
But you
right?
got a bunch of it.
Got a bunch of it.
Yeah.
And we literally went from, I can't remember if it was a 9 or a 10. When we brought it, we checked in to see where we were at the end and did well, I think I'm at like a 2 or a 1,
Wow.
and talked about it a little bit more, went back through some things, and was like, this feels not right, but I'm actually, the number 0 is coming in.
And that's that surprising piece at the end.
Yeah,
Often when we get to the zero, we don't want to believe it because it feels impossible. And it's kind of that idea, like, I think every therapist has always wished that they could have a magic wand.
sure.
And I'm like, I kind of feel like I do now.
I feel like I
It's not
do.
perfect, but it's kind
Yeah,
of magic.
yeah. It's evidence-based magic.
Right?
Um,
Oh man, it's amazing.
yeah. And so I think I have probably some of the newer scripts. Um,
They send them out. They
okay,
send them
cool.
out. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, and that part of doubt, and really, I've kind of been telling clients, listen, I'm not going to argue with your logical side here because I'm right there with you.
yeah. Exactly.
But let's just set that aside for a second. And what do you actually feel?
Right.
And then I think the proof is in the pudding and the
Hmm.
days and the weeks that follow.
Exactly.
And that's when you really start building that confidence of like, yeah, actually,
It's different.
I'm fine. I'm off my anxiety meds. I feel differently. I'm kind of excited to try the whole fish thing. Um, I mean, I'm just not going to get that anywhere else.
Right. Ah, that's so cool. What a cool thing. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you. Oh, that's amazing. It's just amazing. Well, I'm trying to think, any last thoughts before we wrap up?
I think so. I mean, I think it's just give it, I just want people to just give it a shot.
Yeah.
Just, bring your doubt, bring your skepticism,
Yep.
bring your works for her because she's a therapist, whatever. Um, bring it and let's see.
Yep. Exactly. Give it a go. The
Yeah.
worst that'll happen is you lose an hour of your life.
Yeah.
Trying something new, maybe learning something about yourself. And hopefully, most of the time, I've never seen it not work,
I've never seen it not work. Exactly.
right? So, yeah, at worst, you'll feel a little bit better, and at best, you'll achieve your goal
Or more.
or more, or more, which is the cool part.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm trying to think. Do I have anything left to say? I don't think I do. I think it's I think it's the same thing. Like give it a chance.
Mhm.
Give it a chance. It's worth it.
Yeah. And I think about all of the things that we're willing to try, um, or the medications we're willing to take, the
Yep.
anxiety meds, the antidepressants, all these other things. Um, why not try this, right? Just why not?
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Right. Ah, it's been so cool to like sit and chat with you about this and like just be able to have this conversation together.
yeah, well, I really appreciate you kind of bringing it back into our forefront and
Yay.
being willing to give it a go on me. And I mean, life changing.
That's
Truly.
amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much.
We'll see you soon.